Hey guys, this is Hamon, and welcome back to ByteS6 Summer, the show where I review games that have a chilled and relaxing vibe. And today, we're going to be talking about Sunhaven. Yes, this is another one of those farming simulator type deals, much like Stardew Valley, Fields of Mystria, Coral Island, and probably many other clones of Stardew Valley. Although, to be honest, they're all basically clones of Harvest Moon, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, this is basically another one of those farm games. So, this one's story is that you are a person that has taken up the farm and have decided to move to the place that the game's named after, Sunhaven. And as you move in and settle in and all that, you're tasked by not only the town's mayor or governor or whichever title they are, Lucia, but also by the guardian dragon. I want to go with Elios because it's derivative of Helios, but if it's Elios, I really feel disappointed. But either way, you're tasked by them to figure out what on earth is going on, because as you were coming in, you found that the town was covered in a dark mist, and so you are basically tasked to figure out what's going on, see if everything's okay with the other guardians and all that, and so that's everything up to that point. Meanwhile, you also have to make sure you're taking care of your garden, you're making sure you're building relationships and taking care of tasks, and basically just getting things done. Right off the bat, it's a good game. I'm not gonna beat around the bush on that. The reason it's a good game, though, is while it is everything that I've mentioned of the games that I've just mentioned that it is similar to, it does enough that it makes it more unique. So, first off, graphic-wise, it is a pixelated game. It is a nice style in terms of how they made it. The only thing I have wrong with it, the only thing I have a little gripe about, is the fact that only the romanceable partners have full character art when you talk to them. So, you want to talk to Lucia, you talk to Lynn, you talk to Catherine, you talk to Anne, you talk to Liam, you talk to Claude, you talk to June. You see the full art of them when you talk to them. You don't get that with the NPCs like Emmett, Bernard, any of the shopkeepers that are constantly there. None of that. You only get it for the romanceable partners, which is kind of disappointing because I kind of would want to see how those characters look when you talk to them. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard. I mean, you get that in Fields of Mystria, even if they're non-romanceable, you still get to see how they look outside of the overworld NPC design. And they even have variants depending on the seasons. But that's probably a design choice. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it just would have taken up a lot of space and all that, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my only gripe. Otherwise, everything else is good. The backgrounds are all really nicely designed. All the enemies that you have to deal with are really cute and looking and very well unique to the game and all that. There's nothing really much else to really say. Hell, the different regions you go into are vastly unique. It's not you're going into this area, so it's just a color swap and all that. No, everything in those different regions is based off of what they're supposed to be. The Elven area is Elven themed. The monster area is monster themed. Yeah, there's different items you can get in those areas, and only in those areas. But I digress. It honestly more leads me into gameplay in that regard, because like most farming games, all of which I mentioned, you have to basically take care of your farm, build relationships, do quests, do the little side mission stuff, and just basically, live a life. And that's fine and all. But what I love is that technically, because I mentioned the whole thing with the different regions, you could have 3 different farms going off at the same time, which technically makes it a lot harder because now you have to go back and forth between all of them to make sure they're all being taken care of well. Although there is actually a way to circumvent that, but that's more you just have to make it type of thing. Which actually leads me to this. The crafting system in this game is very much a build this station to do this, build this field to do this, build these items to do this task, and so on and so forth. And also, depending on the region you're in, you have specific items that must be made in those regions. Now, you can make a special, I believe, scarecrow or something that allows you to grow the specific crops from those regions so that you don't have to be going anywhere, which honestly I plan to do when I get to it, but that's for later. Until then, you're basically going to have to be picking and choosing when to go to where. Now, in terms of the relationship aspect, it's like most things. You talk to the person, you make sure you say the right things, you give them gifts, you have to figure out what they love. For instance, I'm going after Anne, so she likes sapphires, diamonds, anything that has to do with business, I would assume. And as you're dating her, you make sure you say the right things. You find out things like the fact that her father abandoned her, taking all the money with him because he's ultimately just a con artist that took advantage of her and threw her away once she was of no more use. And actually, that is another aspect of this. What I love about this, with one of the, I would assume, later updates, is that they added these little things that you can find throughout the world that give you a little more insight on the character that it happens to be associated with. Like the fact that in one instance you find a little coin by the tavern, and there you see Anne basically, quote unquote, reuniting with her father. Although it's bittersweet because she doesn't really want to see him again. He's remorseful, but she's like, yeah, I forgive you, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna let you back in. You did a lot to me, and I'm not gonna just let you in because I know what you are. Which I really love that, because again, it gives you more context to the character, it helps you better understand them. Kind of like with Stardew Valley, like when you do the big missions, the big quests things that to help people with their stuff, you'll get a little more insight of how they are after you complete the mission, because you go into certain places and you'll see what happened because of what you did. All in all, I really enjoy this game. And I'm actually currently streaming it at the time of this recording. So if you want to see me play it, I typically will be playing it around Monday and Thursday at the time of this recording. Mind you, things might change. Ultimately, I will say this is a really good game. I would say check it out. It is available on Steam at the price that you see here. And if it's available on any other console, I will put it there as well. So that's all I will say. So I will finish off by saying thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of ByteS6 Summer. If you did and haven't already, please consider a like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel so you can see more stuff like this. Since I mentioned it, go check out my Twitch so you can see me play the games like this real time. And if you want to see other things, you can check out my other socials. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you next time. Bye!